Welcome to East Alabama Today, featuring topics, events, and interesting people from all over East Alabama. Hosted by Carl Brady. Now, let's get right to the show. Here's Carl Brady.
Hello everyone, welcome into East Alabama Today. I'm Carl Brady. Thanks for being with us on today's program. As always, we'll start the show off with some contact information for you so that you can get in touch with us if you need to. If you have an idea for the show, we would love to talk to you. We'd love to hear from you. You guys are our eyes and ears out on the street. You let us know what's happening in your community and in your neck of the woods. So I want to hear from you at my email address, cbrady@tv24.tv. You can let me know about the fairs, the festivals, the special events that are going on in your community. Also, community organizations, charity events, charity organizations, anything like that. That's what we feature here on East Alabama Today. We're also looking for the interesting people who live in your community. Maybe you know someone who's a writer, an artist, or a musician. Maybe they have an odd or an interesting hobby, and you think they'll be a great guest for the program. That's exactly who we're looking for. So send me some information about them as well. Again, the email address is cbrady@tv24.tv. And don't forget to check out the TV24 website for our brand new on-demand section where you can watch East Alabama Today anytime you want to. You don't have to wait for it to be on the air here on TV. You can just go to TV24.tv, click the on-demand button, then go down and click the East Alabama Today tab. And there you'll find a whole series of East Alabama Today shows that you can go and watch at your convenience. So check that out online at TV24.tv. We'll be back in just a moment to get started with today's show, so stay with us. Hello everyone, welcome into East Alabama Today. Again, I'm Carl Brady, and today I have a couple of special guests in studio with me. And we're going to be talking about a disease that you may or may not have heard of. It's called sarcoidosis, I think is the right way to say it. We'll find out right now as I introduce my guest, Alice. Welcome, Alice Minyard.
Thank you for having us today.
Welcome to be with us today. And Brenda Traylor. Brenda, thank you for being with us as well.
Thank you.
On East Alabama Today. And
Thank you.
These ladies represent a local outreach and support group for sarcoidosis.
Right.
And it's hard enough to say, but it seems like I may have heard of it, I may not have heard of it. So talk to us a little bit about what it is, because I know that the majority of the general public probably has never heard of it.
Well, sarcoidosis is an inflammatory disease that can affect any organ in your body. Primarily, it attacks the lungs. Mm-hmm. And there's really no cause for it. Nobody knows what causes it. It's been around, first diagnosed like 150 years ago. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, they've been doing research, but they cannot find a cause, and therefore there's no cure for it.
Wow.
And the symptoms varies by people. Some people may never know they had it, and when they have a chest x-ray, they say, oh, you have sarcoidosis. Then there's others that has it, and it's chronic, and it affects all their organs, and they may can get into remission. They try drugs like prednisone or immunosuppressant drugs, like Imuran or methotrexate, but these drugs are not even approved for sarcoidosis. There's no FDA-approved drugs for sarcoidosis because they can't really prove that it helps. And so we're like guinea pigs. It's like a hit and miss. And in 2008, Bernie Mac brought a lot of attention to it because he had it and he died from complications of sarcoidosis.
And Bernie Mac was a very well-known comedian who had his own TV show and was part of I think they called it the Kings of Comedy tour and movie. And
he had it he was diagnosed in 1983. Mm-hmm. And sarcoidosis, it's a disease you can't tell that you have it from the outside. You look healthy. Mm-hmm. But on the inside, it's just attacking your organs one at a time. And a lot of times, if it's only one organ, they can do a transplant. People's had heart transplants, kidneys transplants, lung transplants. But some people, if it's chronic systemic, all they can do is treat the causes, and eventually people dies from it. We have had several people. It's estimated that 300,000 people is living today with sarcoidosis in the United States, and 20,000 dies every year. And that might be a low number because so many doctors has never heard of sarcoidosis. And some people is not even diagnosed until autopsy.
Wow. What are some of the symptoms? How do you know that there's a problem? If it's internal, is it painful?
Oh,
The
yes.
organs start shutting down? What do you look
Well,
for?
mine, I started having flu-like symptoms, and they kept diagnosing me with the flu. With the flu, my joints I'd get up in the morning, my joints would be hurting, and I'd start coughing. And for 2 weeks, they said, you have the flu, and they would put me on prednisone and stuff, and it would help me. And this went on for years. And you have other symptoms, like liver enzymes will start getting high. You might get blurred vision. It's just like symptoms that mimics MS or even cancer. A lot of people, like myself, before they diagnosed me, they thought I could either have lung cancer, lymphoma, or sarcoidosis. They gave me a choice, and so they had to do a biopsy to see which one it is. But the symptoms is just like cancer or MS or any of the, it mimics many different diseases, and that's why it's so hard to diagnose.
Wow.
It has granulomas that will start growing your organs.
And we'll explain that. I happen to know what a granuloma is.
Oh.
So, and this kind of is an immune system type thing,
Right.
because I actually had a small granuloma come up after I got on a finger after I got a briar stick, and it turns out it's your immune system overreacting to a
Right.
stimulus sometimes. So it, instead of just sending all the things it needs to the point of impact and just doing a quick repair, it overreacts and it starts growing too many blood vessels and too many extra cells in that area, and it becomes a little growth called a granuloma. And so this is what's happening
Right.
internally
Right.
with sarcoidosis patients.
And it causes calcified places. Like when you have sarcoidosis, you don't need to take vitamin D or be out in the sun because it causes hypercalcium to start building up in your organs also. Like I have calcified places on my brain and in my liver. Then I have granulomas in my lungs. I've had kidney failure, liver failure. And you know, you look at me and think, she can't be sick, because when I was first started on prednisone, I gained 100 pounds.
Wow.
I've lost 75 of it now because of other health problems that's associated with sarcoidosis. But you know, it's just everybody look at you, and eventually it'll do your lungs like COPD does. They won't expand, and your oxygen won't leave your lungs.
Brenda, talk about your experiences with sarcoidosis and the support group and how that helps you.
Well, Mr. Brady, I experienced it. I've been living with this disease for a long time, and I heard you say that it's in the you had a granule on your finger, and your immune system sort of overreacts. It's autoimmune diseases, and in the body, in the lungs rather. And my experience is that I get inflamed and in the lung, inflammation in the lung, and there is allergies all year long. You're never without allergies.
Wow.
And some medication helps, and some doesn't help. So it's just a suffering for you, but you still have to find the strength to, you know, move on. Take your time, and you know, just there is your everyday life that you have to live, and you just have to do the best you can with it. Because I was diagnosed when I was in my 20s, and they thought that I had cancer. First, they thought I had tuberculosis, and then they kept me in the hospital. It went away for a while, but then it came back. And when I got older, like in 94, I was, they really found out, you know, that I had sarcoidosis in 94, because back then in the 70s, They didn't have the sufficient equipment to diagnose me.
Exactly. Yeah.
They didn't know what was going on. And so when I found out that I had sarcoidosis, it was foreign to me. I had never heard of that before. I asked the doctor, what is that? He told me what it was, and he said some people doesn't live, past 50.
Wow.
But I'm past that now. I'm not gonna say that.
Well, talk about the support group and how having this local support group of other people who know what it is and are experiencing it has helped you. How does being a part of the support group help you?
It has helped me because I know that I'm not alone. I used to feel alone. I used to feel like I was the only one with this disease, but I know now that I'm not alone. It's more people, with this disease, and it's good to come together and, talk about your different symptoms, because people have different symptoms, and all of them not the same.
And sharing ideas as to how to treat some of those symptoms, or how do you deal with this on a daily basis, or deal with that. When you have someone who's also going through it to talk to, it helps to share those ideas and those kind of things. And we need to take a commercial break, so we'll do that right now. So stay with us. We'll be back with more in just a moment. And we welcome you back into East Alabama today, and we're talking about a disease called sarcoidosis. I think I say it right. I think that's right, sarcoidosis, and a local outreach and support group for patients and their family members who are dealing with this disease. We've talked a little bit about what it is, and we're joined now by another guest. Martha Butcher is part of the support group as well. And Martha, welcome to the program. Great to have you joining us. Talk a little bit about your experiences and how you came to be a part of this outreach and support group.
Well, I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis when I was 25, back in 1972. And I was in upstate New York, so they had a little more knowledge about it. And of course, when I moved back to Alabama, I felt like I was the only one. I had problems, slow walking. I never was a runner, so I knew I couldn't run. So I was a slow walker. On the days that the pollen was out high, I would stay in. And you just learn how to live with the disease. And then one day this big article came up in the paper about sarcoidosis. And this lady here named Alice was the front, and I was like, wow, I couldn't believe that, because I was told when I was diagnosed that this was only a black disease. And so here she is. She's not a black person, right. Okay? And I was so surprised to see that, and I couldn't wait to meet her. And I was working with a lady that had worked as a nurse with Alice, and so we connected with Alice, and it was just great to meet Alice. And when I met Alice, you're looking at a beautiful person right here. When I met Alice, she could hardly speak off of herself. She could hardly speak. I mean, and then she was telling me all the experiences that she had and with her disease, and with brain lesions and all of that, and affecting her joints. I just felt so blessed, because I did lose a lung to it in 2002. I lost a lung, my left lung, to the disease. Like you said, the ground lung, they swole up and they got big and they burst open and start bleeding. Wow. And I lost a lung to it. But I had already set myself up to live with the disease. I just pace. I do things, but I pace myself very slow. I love the buggies at Walmart. I gotta have it. But the support group has been awesome in this area. It really has, because you can call someone late at night and you can't sleep, and that's another part of disease. You don't get a lot of sleep. and we talk, or we on Facebook talking, you know, how was your day, and I think that's what helps the support group. I met Miss Brenda. I met her at the doctor's office. I was there with my aunt, and someone asked her, "Why do you wear an oxygen tank?" And she was telling them about sarcoidosis. I heard it, and I said, "Oh, that's the same disease I have." So that's how we, you know, pulled in the group. And this group, Alice have been a great advocate for sarcoidosis. There were some people that was being mistreated, because it gets misdiagnosed so many times. Sent home with no medication or nothing, and Alice hooked them up with Dr. Barney in Birmingham. So that's how the support group is, and that's what we want to do, you know, in this area, to widen our horizons so people can know about us and we can help people, because there are some medications out there. If it's no more than that prednisone right now, that's all they're giving you. We need to get them to that, you know, and more information.
Get people to the right treatment.
The right treatment.
To the correct treatment.
Correct treatment. That's the whole key to the whole, you know, if you could just get the right treatment, you know, and then you'll learn your limitations, you know, how to deal with them.
Now, the support group meets once a quarter at the Lena Martin Room at the Gadsden Public Library. And you have a website as well, so people can get more information about when the meetings are and that kind of thing.
We have a website, Sarcoidosis Outreach, SOS.com. We're also on Facebook. It's Sarcoidosis Outreach Group. And so, and I'm Alice Ramsey Minyard, so any way you can find me, you can find me.
Yeah, and the governor has given you guys a proclamation, is that correct? Tell me about what this is.
Okay, this is a proclamation from the governor, and is marked for April the 2nd. The month of April is Sarcoidosis Month, so if you see purple ribbons, purple signs, it's about sarcoidosis. And we got this great walk that's coming up April the 12th, and over at the Vivian Maddox Center.
Sports Complex.
Sports Complex, thank you.
You're welcome.
On Rainbow Drive. And we just asked everyone to come out and support that. Alice has worked so hard on that. And this is our second one. And each year it's growing. You know, I was just speaking with her. The first thing we did was when we lost our member Tina. From the group. We had we released the balloons in her honor that year, and now we're doing a second walk. So, you know, that's really something for us just to be starting.
It is, and that's coming up Saturday, which is April 12th, 8 a.m. for the registration and sign in, 9 o'clock for the walk at the Vivian Lee Maddox Sports Complex. That's in Rainbow City on Rainbow Drive. How much is there a cost to it? How does this work as a fundraiser?
Okay.
What else is going to be going on?
We have that $20 registration fee. That pays for the walk, because we couldn't get any sponsors to help us, because nobody knows what sarcoidosis is. And people that wants to goes and asks people to help them raise money, because sarcoidosis has very little funding available, because it being a rare disease. And so last year we raised $8,000, and we had half of what we have already signed up now, and we've doubled the sign up already. Because you can sign up now, you can go on the website and sign up now.
Awesome. So you can do early registration to sign up, or sign up on site there Saturday morning. You know what? While we've talked about this being a rare disease and something that most people haven't heard of, it is interesting. We mentioned Bernie Mac, the comedian and actor who died because of this disease, but also NFL star Reggie White.
Yes.
And actor Michael Duncan Clark, who everybody will remember from The Green Mile and several other movies. These men, their lives were cut short because of this disease as well.
Reggie White, he thought his was in remission. This is how sarcoidosis does you. And his wife's interview's on the not our website, but you can look it up. And he was laying in bed and she heard him gurgling. So she went in there and she started CPR. They got him to the hospital. They couldn't revive him. And they did an autopsy. Kind of, he's in his 40s. And he has sarcoidosis of the heart. And nobody knew it. And that's how he passed away. And Michael Duncan Clark, the same thing. His was, he thought he was doing fine. Then he had a massive heart attack. And when they did the test, it showed it was sarcoidosis that caused it. And people, even children, people look at us and say, oh, y'all old people, but children are being diagnosed,
Yes.
even infants, and they do not know why. They're thinking now it's more maybe a genetic link, maybe you're born with a gene and something, maybe you get a virus or something that causes it to start overreacting. And like she said, we had Tina Twyman, she was in our group, and Lavoy Quarles. Both of those have passed away, and they both was in their 40s, leaving small children.
Yeah,
and
sad.
I feel I'm blessed, because like Martha said, at times I was in a wheelchair and on a walker. That I mean, I was so bad. I was having seizures, over and over. I ended up in the MIC unit at Riverview, and they told my husband to call in the family, and God just really took part in it, and I'm here today because of that.
Wow. And that's a good example of talking about the different people and different aspects. You know, as you were saying, it attacks just kind of randomly different organs.
Right.
Yes.
You know, you've had experience with your lungs, and other people maybe heart or other organs and things like that. So it seems like such a random kind of thing. No wonder it's so difficult to track down. What do people need to really look out for? Because since the symptoms mimic so many other things, is it like one of those situations where the doctors just can't figure out what's wrong, so maybe now we need to look at this? What would you suggest to people who may be concerned about this?
Okay, I was treated for 5 years for lupus before they found out I had sarcoidosis, and I'd have lymph nodes swell up in my neck, and I'd go to a doctor and they would say cat scratch fever, and I thought it can't be. They'd give me prednisone, I'd get better, and then I'd break out in this horrible rash. Sometimes you have this horrible rash, and they'd give me prednisone, it'd get better. And so then I did have a CAT scan of my lungs in 2006 before I was diagnosed in 2008, and a doctor did tell me to ignore it, that I must have had TB when I was a child because I had granulomas. So I ignored it for 2 years. That's why I got so sick. If you're having flu-like symptoms and they can't find out why, if you're tired, exhaustion is fatigue is just bad, ask for a chest x-ray. And it's your health. You know when you're sick. Nobody else knows.
Right.
Be aggressive. Be proactive. Cause you are the one that's going. If they can't find out, it can be up to you.
Thank you very much. We need to take our final commercial break, and we'll do that now and come back for just a couple of quick final thoughts. So stay with us. Our final segment of the show today, we've been talking about a local outreach and support group for sarcoidosis, which is an autoimmune disease that is kind of a rare disease, but there are people throughout the community who are experiencing this disease. So the outreach and support group is there. They meet on a quarterly basis, every quarter, January, April, July, and October, in the Lena Martin Room of the Gadsden Public Library. If you want more information, their website, sarcoidosis.outreach.sos.com. You can also look them up on Facebook as well for more information. And coming up on Saturday, the 12th, there is a special walk, a hope walk, that you can be a part of. This is going to be a 1K and a 5K, is that correct?
Yes,
a 1K and a 5K. And you can be a part of this walk to help raise money for sarcoidosis. It is going to be at the Vivian Lee Maddox Sports Complex in Rainbow City. Sign-ins at 8 o'clock. The walk begins at 9. Again, go to the website for more information. And that's going to wrap up our show for today. Ladies, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
I appreciate you coming out today. And folks, we thank you for joining us as well today. And we'll see you next time on East Alabama Today.